Okay, tonight we're going to start talking about similar triangles. All right, we have a preimage and an image. Triangle ABC is our preimage. So I'm going to highlight that. Triangle DEF is our image. We've transformed it by a dilation and a translation. All right, so if we write our similarity statement and we start at the top, we would say triangle ABC and name the other one in the same direction, triangle DEF. And that is our similarity statement. This is our similarity symbol. I want to start by naming my congruent angles, so I'm going to start with angle A is corresponding to angle D. So I would mark angle A is congruent to angle D. And then I want to find another pair of corresponding angles. I could say angle B, I mark with two marks, is corresponding to angle E. So angle B is going to be congruent to angle E. And then finally the third angle, angle C, I mark with 3 marks, is going to be congruent or corresponding to angle F. So they would be congruent. I also want to name my corresponding sides. So let's start with side AB. Side AB is corresponding to side DE. So I put my pre-image in my numerator and I put my image in my denominator. Find another pair of corresponding sides. I could say the bottom ones, BC, is corresponding to EF. So I put my pre-image, BC, in my numerator, EF in my denominator. And then finally, my third and final side, I would say that AC is going to be corresponding to DF. So I put my pre-image, AC, in my numerator, and my image, DF, in my denominator. So I've written my similarity statement, identified my congruent angles, and named my proportional sides. Now, here's the definition. It says, two triangles are similar if their corresponding angles are the same or congruent and their corresponding sides are proportional. So what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to use a similarity statement. This is a similarity statement because it's got the names of two triangles with the similar symbol between them. And we want to use that statement to name the congruent angles and the proportional sides. So if I start with the first vertex in each triangle, then I know that those are angles that need to be congruent. So I would put my pre-image first. Angle R is congruent to angle U. And then I would go with my second vertice, which would be S. So I would say angle S is congruent to the second one, angle V. And then I'd name my final and third vertice. I would say angle T has got to be congruent to angle W. Then I want to talk about my proportional sides. So if I look at my proportional sides, remember sides are labeled with 2 letters. So I've got to get the first 2 letters. So I'm going to start with RS, and it's going to match up with UV. So I put my pre-image, RS, in my numerator. UV is in my image, so I put in my denominator. Then let's go to the next 2 letters. I could say that ST is going to be corresponding to VW. So ST is in my pre-image. VW is in my image. And my final and third side in the triangles would be RT and UW. So RT is in my pre-image and UW is in my image. So there I've listed my congruent angles and my proportional sides from my similar triangle statement. Now I want you to do the same thing. Hit pause on your video, and I want you on your guided notes to name the congruent angles and the proportional sides. If you have to refer back to the last side, that might be helpful. All right, here we're given some dimensions. All right, and we want to name the congruent sides, name the proportional sides, and identify the similarity statement. Now, to me, it's easier to start with the unique ones, so I'm going to start with angle B and angle C. I know that they're congruent because they have the same number of marks, so I would say angle B is congruent to angle C. And then I want to mark another pair. I could say angle A is congruent to angle F because they have one mark. And then finally, I want to name the third and final one. So that leaves angle D congruent to angle E. And I have named my congruent angles. Next, I want to name the proportional sides. So again, to me, it makes it easier if you start with the unique one. So I'm going to start with B, and I'm going to go from B to A. So that would be side BA, or you could call it AB. Let's start with the congruent to B would be C, so we could say CF in the image. So there's my ratio. Now I want to set up similar ratios, so let's go to another side. So if I go from A to D, that would be the same thing as from F to E. So my pre-image, AD, and my image, FE. And then my final side, I would go from D to B, and I would go from E to C. So D, B, E, C. And finally, I want to name my similarity statements. So I've got it congruent. I want it just to be similar. So if I name my similarity statement, I'm going to name this triangle. So let's go in the same order as we did our angles. Triangle BAD is going to be similar. Let's name them in the same order here. CFE. And that way my similarity statement matches my congruent angles and my proportional sides. I want you to do the same thing here. Let's make sure these triangles are similar. If this is a 90-degree angle, which it looks like, I need to find my missing angle to make sure my other two angles match. So I would say 180, because every triangle has 180. Subtract 90, and that's going to give me 90. And then if I subtract 37 to find the missing angle in the large triangle in my pre-image, that would give me 53. So this triangle is 53. So I know that a triangle that has a 90-degree angle and a 53 angle and a 37, that has to be a measurement. So this angle has to be 37. So what I'd like for you to do to finish this activity tonight is name the congruent angles, name the proportional sides, and complete the similarity statement, and we'll practice some more of this tomorrow.